What up, YouTube? It's your boy Zara Black here today to bring you not a RWBY related video per se, but in the context of what I'm gonna say, it's gonna be a RWBY related video. All right. So, to me, I've noticed that a lot of people have been giving RWBY a lot of L's lately. Especially when it comes to putting RWBY versus other anime. Or, well, let's go to the two biggest offenders of this. RWBY versus Maka and Yang versus Tifa or Leon. You can interchange them too, it won't freaking matter. So everyone puts RWBY versus Maka, and I see a lot of people instantly just say, "Oh, Maka's gonna destroy RWBY. RWBY ain't got nothing on Maka." Yet you had a fair share of people who are like, "Oh, RWBY's got this. We ain't gotta worry about her." Well, that's kind of why I want to address this. You are putting stock in two different power leveled characters, and some people are guilty of outright putting RWBY characters against odds that they don't have a chance against. Yeah, they don't stand a chance in heck against a lot of anime out there, because let's be honest, we have tiers to this stuff. Alright? And if you know what tier they fall under, yeah, they might just not be able to win. Now, when we talk about these tiers, there's also gonna be kind of a grayish area when it comes to dimension hoppers, because while dimension hopping would technically fall under a god level skill, a lot of characters can dimension hop. Prime example, the characters from Bleach, all of them hop between three different dimensions: Wako Mundo, the human world, and the spirit world, or Gorosei. Then you have characters like Kaguya, who casually created a portal to different dimensions, or created a whole new dimension outright. Now earlier, a good friend of mine on Team Sunny D, he said that Kaguya was not casually creating them, but she was tired after 5 to 6 dimension hops. But and the Kakashi, Obito, and Madara, they all could create their own separate universe. That falls under god level. That falls in a grayish area, like I said, because dimension hopping technically isn't a god level skill that if you get to it, a lot of people can use. Even Reed's Grimory, who I feel is nowhere near a god level character, can open up portals to the underworld. So we're gonna throw dimension hopping into a little gray area. So somewhere on the screen, I put up what defines a god level character, or the tiers. So there's God tier, Galactic Fleet tier, Planet Buster tier, Population tier, Continent tier, Country tier, Fleet-Army level tier, Battlefield tier, Fortress tier, Squad level tier, Monster level tier. You can interchange Squad and Monster level tier, Bandit level tier, Trainee level tier, and Civilian level tier. So those are all the tiers I can think of. if you think if that's just like a general list I want to go by when I think of anime in terms of raw, uncontrolled power. Because honestly, that's where most anime fall when it comes to power scaling. If you're not God tier, you're civilian tier as far as everyone else is concerned. Let's take Dragon Ball Z for example. Dragon Ball Z would fall directly under a planet level tier, or most of the characters would fall under a planet level tier to some extent. Now, the only reason they're not Galactic Fleet tier is because we've never seen them destroy a galaxy with their power. It's always just stated that they're planet busters. No one's ever gone out and said, oh, they can destroy entire galaxies, which they probably could do if they really wanted to. But the only god level character that we've seen is, I can't remember the dude's name. He's a little blue dude. He destroys galaxies like nothing. He destroys them casually. So if we want to work off a tier scale, we can work with that. That's where I draw the line for absolute power. If you can casually destroy a dimension, then you're God in a sense. You are a God level character if you can casually destroy and create freaking dimensions. Kaguya and Yahweh. Yahweh is from Bleach, the final villain of Bleach. They fall into a grayish area when it comes to this. Kaguya falls into the population planet buster level tier, while Yahweh just falls into the population level tier. The only reason I say he falls, well, not population, but he falls in between the population / planet buster tier. The only reason I say that they don't, the only reason I don't say that they fall into directly God level tier is because some of their feats, or at least their raw energy itself, is just monstrous. I know for a fact that somebody is going to go down in the comments below or try and correct me saying that Yahweh is a God level character because his Reishi was so powerful that was affecting 3 dimensions and he ultimately was going to destroy 3 dimensions. And I gotta say, I don't believe he was a God level character. Yes, in a sense he killed the Spirit King, who was the god of Bleach, but at the same time, it was his raw energy that was doing most of the damage. So that's why I say he falls into a grayish area when it comes to that. So honestly, with Kaguya and freaking Yahweh, we're gonna just put them directly under God and in between Galactic. We're gonna call them, I guess we can call them demigod level ish. I'll have to find a place for demigod later, but right now, just know that they fall into the category of God level, but they are not God level. So just demigods. Now, on to RWBY. Now let's nip this in the bud right now. RWBY, in general, they're not planet busters. We can graciously call them not planet busters. Hell, we can say that they're not continent level. Continent level, in a sense, says that you can decimate everyone on a continent with no problems, or you might have problems, but you can still get away with destroying everyone on the continent. No one on RWBY has that level yet. No one in RWBY is a fleet or army level destroyer. Battlefield is a stretch, and Fortress is a definite, because I want to take Cinder Fall here. Cinder's intelligence puts her at Fortress tier because she was able to orchestrate the not outright destruction, but the fall of Beacon. So Beacon itself could be considered a fortress. So instantly, in my mind, that puts her squarely in the Fortress level tier. But otherwise, I would say that as far as RWBY is concerned, they're on the squad monster level tier. Now, for those of you who who want to know what I consider squad and monster level tier, monster level tier would be the Grim per se, but squad level tier means that you could probably decimate 100 to 5,000 people in one go. That's squad level. The only reason I'm putting them in that level is, as opposed to going lower and saying bandit, is because we don't know the full extent of their power. But if Cinder was intelligent enough to take down a fortress, that means that they're not far off from that level, from that echelon. Okay, so the majority of characters in RWBY would be considered monster tier or squad level tier. We don't have anyone else in that range as far as RWBY. RWBY sits square on the list that I created. RWBY sits not at the very bottom. They're in the lower part of the mid tier. Yeah, I said that they're in the lower part of the mid tier. If you actually look at the list, RWBY squarely falls into the lower part of the mid tier and below.
Come on, Nona.
Now, there aren't too many animes that are going to fall into that same category, and I'm not going to go over which anime falls into which category. I'll leave that for you guys to decide later on. Just know that when you push RWBY up against characters, you're pushing them up against characters that are in the upper mid to high level tier. But that's all I gotta say for this video. This has been your boys, RWBY, and I will see you guys in the next video.